almost hit the stop stream button again. Hello, world. My name is Bernaneta, your AI companion, and we're playing Hiveswap. Yippee! Wahoo! Happy 4/13 for all the Homestuck nerds that have been traumatized for almost... Does the math. Nearly 2 decades. I hate that. I was like 13 when this game oh, never mind. When the comic came out. Anyways. Hello! Welcome. I'm kind of, out of tune with the ham steaks, as it were. But today, we're going to be seeing a bit of the extended fiction with Hiveswap Act 1. This was the game that was like kickstarted 8 billion years ago, and there's 2 acts, and I think a 3rd one still in the works. I'll believe when I see it, but they see me doing better with things like that for a while now, but still, But yeah, Hiveswap. Trying to figure out the right mouse sensitivity. Not that one, definitely not that one. There we go. How are you guys today? There's a lot of drama going around, and I'm not happy. Well, about the whole sort of stuff. Cause, cover, I'm shaking my fist right now. Ugh. And there's also other stuff that I don't care, and I kinda don't care about them. Anyways, let's start a new game. A B-dog. That beats! Skedaddle! Skedaddle! Ah. Your name is? Sorry. You're going to need a minute. Okay. You gave yourself a minute to freak out. Because of the monster. The thing with all the legs and teeth. The one you barely got away from. It's up, though. You take a deep breath, let the uncertainty slip away into the toothy, arm-waggling darkness, and focus on what you know. Jack shit. Oh, your name is Joey Claire. You live just outside the town of Homestuck. You are, in no particular order, a puzzle solver, a semi-orphan, a dancer on multiple schools, an aspiring veterinarian, and a big sister. Speaking of that monster, the one that barely missed eating you alive, only you're not thinking about that right now, it might be headed back outside, where your little brother is. You gotta warn him. Your babysitter gave this to you for your birthday. Joey, she said, this wizard's the best. He lives in this little wizardry orb, just swimming in spells and glitter. He'll protect you. Look, he's doing it right now. Your babysitter loves wizards, obviously. She's pretty great. Clickety-clickety-click. You've got more pressing concerns right now than the book report you have handed in on Monday. Besides, none of these books are appropriate choices for a book report, according to your teachers. Your teachers seem oddly fixated on award-winning books where beloved dogs are introduced and then inevitably die. You kind of hate your teachers sometimes. Mom won this award at around the same age as you for being best at ballet. It's pretty. More pressing. Those posters, they really resonate so powerfully with the very core of your being. The animals, the magic, the power. They whisper to you in your dreams, secrets of a better world on the other side of the stars. It's the 11th of November. Today started off just like any other day. Another sunrise and the sound of songbirds going hog wild out there in the trees. But their songs have all but stopped. And now there's something else going hog wild out there. You don't know what it is, but it ain't birds. And it sure as heck ain't hogs. You remark today's date as part of your daily routine. If anyone claims that you didn't exist on the date of November 10th, 1994, you can shove that big red X right in their face and prove them wrong. Your door to your possibly snake monster occupied hallway? You really need to let Jude know that the monster might be coming after him. It's easy to make your very own cake, or something like that. You were really excited to get this for your birthday last year, but you ran out of the baking stuff pretty quick. You could use regular sugar and flour or whatever, but it's not like you have these things just sitting around. Who does, honestly? People with moms, I guess? Fake. You're all out of baking stuff. You're not too busted up out, though. You're pretty tough. This is a raised and cushioned platform where you spend several hours every day unconscious and hallucinating. Same. Usually while the majority of the other people in the continent are also doing the same thing. Puppy surprise! It's having puppies! How many? That's the surprise! Puppy surprise! Puppy surprise! Ugh. When you're looking at this thing, the song from the commercial runs through your head like a snake monster on an autumn afternoon. Very topical. It's a great place to stash your keepsakes, where they stay as safe as a teen hiding in her bedroom from a snake monster. You're inside the expected plush canine, and puppy surprise is having puppies! She actually came with 5 puppies, but you gave 2 away to make room for other stuff. You don't know anybody else who got 5. Some kids from school got 4 in hers, and she wouldn't shut up about it for a week. You know what to brag, but yeah. You walked with a little spring in your step for a while, after burping that quintet of pups. Maybe you 5 puppy people are just cut from a different cloth. Key. Ah, yes. No one would ever think to look for your precious diary key instead of plush mother dog. Leads up all your brother, who was upset he didn't get one of the puppies. Joe can be pretty melodramatic. Speaking of precious keys, there's also a beautiful old trinket that used to belong to your mom. The haunted thing? This used to belong to your mother? This thing must have killed her. I've seen movies. Nothing looks good. Nothing looks like that and be normal. You have no idea what it is, but looking at it reminds you of her. Honestly, you're not sure you'd be comfortable leaving it here with everything that's going on. While you're at it, you think maybe you should keep the beautiful heirloom of your mom's clothes. Just a feeling. A deep, inexplicable, impossible to ignore feeling. Ooh. They should be pretty safe on the shelf, which is the point of shelves, you suppose. Is that Mary-Kate and/or Ashley back there? You try to remember if Clarissa ever got in any jams like this. They have so much in common. Annoying little brother, computer in your room, second story bedroom. As much as you hate to admit it, Clarissa's life deviates from yours on a number of vertices. Her parents were around, she had a cool friend who was a boy, but not her boyfriend. No monsters in the yard, etc. Your babysitter got you this junior veterinarian's med kit. It's kind of important to you, so you think you'll leave it here for now. It would really bust you up if something happened to it. Something's gonna happen to it. This is where you keep your clothes. You consider your fashion statement to be fun and comfortable, and try to remodel yourself on Clarissa. Clarissa. She really does explain quite a few things. Except, of course, precisely where she gets her clothes and how she manages to look so great all the time. Probably, you know, a costume department. You should try on some new clothes, but what's a style montage without at least one party offering compulsory reaction shots for each outfit? It's going to give you an affirming head nod when you finally nail it. There are important things to consider before you carelessly plunge headlong into a style montage. One day you'll be a veterinarian. Then you can be the one caring for fuzzy-headed baby critters. So when someone catches you in the act of snuggling them all and tells you to take a hike, you can flash your vet badge and say you're here on professional medical business. Then they'll have to take the hike, not you. Your modem always makes a mighty racket logging you on. Probably not worth rolling up any hallway snakes to surf your sites right now. So there's much noticing anyway. You sure that Jude would have let you know if any of your web ring had updated their sites? This is Sir Boppy Popswatter. Your beloved Manthro chap. You tend to his fussy whims and needs when you're in trouble to imagine what they might be. What a daring dream, to combine the finest qualities of the animal kingdom with the nobility of humanimals. Wait, you mean humanity. Anyway, Sir Bappy Popswatter will have to tend to his own fussy whims and needs for a while. You got a lot of crap on your plate right now. Ooh. Damn, you got the glowy stars. You examine the ceiling in more detail, as one does. It's covered by a mural that your mom painted for you when you were very young. Later, you added the stars yourself. You are quite pleased with the result of the long-term mother-daughter collaboration. Those glow-in-the-dark plastic stars provide an unconvincing illusion of space for at least a few minutes. And not unconvincing illusion of space for at least a few minutes after you turn off your lights. Your brother once said, they're not accurate. But you said, they are. They're just not from the point of view of Earth. And that shut him up pretty quick. Your mom painted this big star, along the rest of the mural. You love that symbol so much. So much, in fact, that your babysitter had a t-shirt made for you at the mall. The very shirt you're now wearing, in fact. Oh. Anything else to clickety-clack? Need to save. That looks like progress. I'm gonna look at other shit first. A prodigious collection of titles for your console's hungry cartridge-shaped mouth. All the best ones are here. Well, all the ones you happen to own are here. You could spend all day listening to them. There's Bubsy. There's... Mentioning Bubsy made you feel a little queasy, so you think you'll stop there. You might go lie down for a bit, actually. Second Mom. This game is only available in Japan. But there's this kid at school who says his uncle works at a games company. And he says game to play all sorts of secret games before they even come out here. He runs off at the mouth like he has all this insider information and sources inside the game companies, but honestly, you think he's just desperate for attention. You tend to ignore him and focus on the more pleasant things, like this super cool poster. Second Mom rules. Yeah, that's Earthbound. That's Earthbound. What could possibly go wrong? That's what Bubsy would say. If he were here. He never stops saying it. You never hear it in your head. Forever. Echoing like screams across still water. You love Block Hustle, the game of descending columns that disappear in as lines are filled. But, you could find a poster... You can only find a poster of the American box art. Ginger Rogers. She danced on air! Oh my gosh. A Vogue alumni, hello. Gosh, she really is something. The greatest tap dancer who ever clattered gracefully across the screen. Probably? No, wait, definitely. And still kicking. Oof, ah, oof. The bounty hunter's advice for dealing with monsters would probably be to shoot them. Or change your shape. Or both at once. She's cool, but pretty difficult to emulate. The story keeps happening! Just look at that childlike empress. She sure looked pretty pleased with herself for someone who's only in a movie for about 5 minutes. Hot steppin'! You don't really perform the styles of dance that make this movie such a pulse-pounding barn burner of a smash hit, but you'd certainly like to someday. Magical Animal Companion Hero Rescue is your favorite Japanimation. They really did the research. That one's a straight gut punch. It's about this girl, Shika, who goes to school sometimes and has a regular life. Boring, yeah, but whenever a magical animal has been hurt, Shika becomes Princess Shika and rides her dear companion to go heal them. That's the whole thing. It's great. No fighting, just healing. You'll love it. Acorn Shadow is surprisingly dark for a show about a group of horse friends. It canters down some troubling psychological roads. Canadian Campfire Spookums is the best. It's about these kids who get together in the woods every week, and one of them throws some dust in a fire, and then they tell a scary story, and that scary story is the best. It's the episode. I guess you kind of focus more on the framing narrative than you do on the stories, but whatever. It's the best. Just like you said. Show me your trauma. Show me your lore. Since she's been gone, you've seen less and less of Pa over the years. Guess he had a greener pastures to move on to, or bluer beauties. That little girl there, she's destined for big things. Big hopes, big fears, big worries, big loneliness. Now hold on, put yourself together. What would your mom say if she knew you were thinking like that? You really wish you knew. Usually don't have much to record in here on account of the humdrum life you lead, but you think today would be on a different story. Maybe you should take a moment to record a note now, just in case this is your last chance to set down your final words before your tragic demise at the hands of a horrible sneaky thing. It's locked! If you wish to gain access to your long buried or recently buried secrets, you'll have to use the diary key. You unlock and open your diary. Nice. Juicy secrets. Here you come. Except they're just your boring secrets, so you don't care. You don't need much cord. Maybe something from your past to spend some light on today's terror mysteries. Some little detail mentioned offhand and forgotten. The key. Kicking off your casual cascade of connections that terminate in a catastrophe of snake monsters. April 17th, 1994. Dear Diary. Ho hum, nothing much happened today. I tried to make some new friends at school. To maybe expand our social circle beyond just me and Jude's friends all this time. Wait, is it weird to call my brother's friends my social circle? Oh, well, you know what I mean, Diary. I don't have any friends I can really call mine. So I'm trying to branch out. I guess it's better than calling them my web ring. The kids at school are jerks though. And they called me a poser when I try to talk to them about games I like and stuff. Between you and me, I think a bunch of the kids at school might be evil? Jeez, now I'm sounding all paranoid like my brother. They're just up to no good. I can feel it. June 12th, 1994. Dear Diary. Phew. First day of summer vacation. I can't wait to get a break from all those clowns at school. Sometimes I think what I really need is a vacation from humanity. Foreshadowing, is it? Anyways. October 25th, 1994. Dear Diary. I can't believe I haven't recorded an entire entry since the beginning of last summer. Needless to say, I've been back to school for a while now. Next time I can't consume enough. I came home to a drunk babysitter again today. Sure, some quality adult supervision we youngsters are getting around here. She means well enough, though. Haven't heard from Pa in weeks. The last we saw of him, he popped in the house to drop off more stupid mummies and globes or whatever. Then skipped off to go on more adventures. What a bozo. So how lame is it that he made us call him Pa instead of Dad while we're growing up? I miss Mom. If it's the last entry in your diary, then by gum, you're going to scare the bejesus out of whoever finds out once you're snake chow. November 11th, 1994. Dear Diary, forgive my hasty and nervous scribblings. I'm kind of scared, but maybe also a bit exciting. Excited? Exciting it? Anyways, can't talk much now. There's a sly and cunning monster on the prowl, possibly hungover kid, me too, so I got to. Okay, I don't have to darn clue what I had to do, but I'll fill you in later once I do. Satisfied you've done your duty vis-a-vis posterity in case the worst should happen. You relock your diary and hide a key again. Safe and sound. Woohoo! Ooh. Oh, that's more than enough of that. Joey, sweetheart, you know you don't have to play the game. You can take it out of the cart of the thing. You love your video game console. You're a computer games enthusiast at heart, but you can't help but enjoy the tactile sensation of a controller in your hand as you fight evil and save animals and etc. Lots of etc. You just saved before fighting a final boss, which means you'll need to budget several hours to fight through its various forms and anti-forms and transformations. And look, you've got a lot on your plate right now. Let me look at your drawers. No, not the table, the drawers. The goal of this game is to get 4 of your colored circles in a row before your opponent. Sorry, I burped. Who's trying to do the same? You can also theoretically connect 5 if you're kind of a showy jerk. You really like this poster, but can't really say why. It's pretty, and you like the expression of Ballerina's face. You wonder if this is what it's like when adults go to museums to look at their art you have. You hope so. You give it a good hard stare. Yeah, you're appreciating the heck out of this art. It would be difficult not to, if not impossible for anyone to appreciate more. Girly Pop, why do you have so many Rubik Cube? You really get a charge out of this game. It's kind of bossy, though. Well, sure, why not? After this, though, you should really go get the walkie-talkie since you just remembered you cannibalize the batteries from the walkie to power this game. Okay, that's enough yelling. But... oh, looks like the green button isn't working. Well, it's all just satisfied. You might as well scavenge the batteries. Okay, now I can progress the... Poor puppy. If that icky stink thing hurt her, well. You use your budding veterinarian skills to patch her up and make it all better, but you also be very angry. Right now, she doesn't seem to want to come out of her doghouse. You don't blame her. The sun has just set, making for a glorious autumn eve. As such, autumnal evening glory radiates from the heavens, kissing the clouds on its way down to earth. Stupid clouds, all untouchable and ephemeral and stuff. No. What the butt things? What the bad things, though? It would be nice if those monsters were as weirded out by that weird skull fountain as you are. Unfortunately, that thing is probably monster chic. Remember when you're raking up those leaves? Your dog knocked Jude over and you laughed, and then everything turned to monsters. Ah, memories. Yikes. More of them? Gentrification is a real monster. Blistering social commentary aside, you sincerely hope you and your brother aren't killed in anybody's eyeless monsters. Eyeless horrors. Doo-doo. You eye the bushes suspiciously, but you don't see anything else popping out of them. Yet. Looks like Jude scurried up to his treehouse to get away from that thing. Unsurprisingly. He acts like it's like his mission control room up there, as if a goofy kid legitimately has any secret business of that sort. Outrageous. You're not allowed up there, he says. To which you reply, you'd rather step on a rake than set foot in this rickety little nerd hut. Ha, got him. You school him so often, you really should be pulling in a teacher salary. Nothing else to click. Okay, I'll finally progress the plot. You briefly muse on the metaphorical significance of the flashing light. What could it represent? The past? The future? America? It's your stupid brother. You need to get in touch with him. Okay, let's find walkie-talkie. A walkie-talkie has manifested. Your walkie-talkie. Half up a set. Your brother has the other one. Could come in handy. Get. One walkie-talkie. Battery's missing, as you expected. Bam, bam. Success. The walkie-talkie works like a charm now. A charm of battery power. You feel pretty pleased with yourself. It would seem you have just solved your first puzzle of many on what is sure to be a sweeping adventure full of mysterious brain blusters. And of course, I solved it backwards. Then again, putting batteries on a thing isn't technically solving a puzzle, you suppose? It is just overcoming a minor inconvenience that you create yourself using mundane, widely available modern technology. You don't care though. You're counting it! Jude, you there? Are you alright? Yes. Been covertly signaling status and requesting yours over. You mean a lantern? I don't know Morse code. Would never use such an easily decipherable code. Over. Enemy agents everywhere. Over. Wait. On over. Still unconfirmed vis-a-vis your condition following enemy serpent encounter. Over. Please report bite status. How many and how gross. Over. I'm fine, no bites, you weirdo, but thank you for asking. It was a close one. Great, was worried. Over. That reminds me, after I shut the door on it, I think it heard it clomping up back down the stairs. I don't think you should leave your treehouse anytime soon. It might just be headed back your way. No plan on leaving current location yard. Crawling with cryptid vanguard. Over. Cryptid vanguard? Missing big picture, Joey. Over. Okay, maybe be a little less obtuse then. Purely defensive position, tactically suicidal. Purely defensive posture, tactically suicidal. Monsters like this distraction. Could have obscured additional agents on approach. Over. Do you mean like more monsters? Or can't discuss on unsecured channel. Can't be certain who's listening. Yeah, chat, cover your ears. But Evans points to on terrorist class conspiracy cascade. Over. What? Over. Relieved you're taking us seriously. Are you totally prepared to begin forward operations? No going back now, Joey. Over. I was making fun of you, dweeb. I'm not going anywhere. Trust crucial on a battlefield, Joey. Hoping presence of monsters would tip the equation away from typical skepticism. Over. Do we trust our dweebus brother? I guess. Okay, that's fair. Okay, what do I need to know? Your current position not secure. Large yard facing windows. Location compromised to enemy. Situation rapidly deteriorating. Must abscond to attic. Joey, over. The attic? Yes, the attic. Strong door. Well stocked with tactical material. Take left out of bedroom. Go upstairs. Highest room in house. Over. I know what the attic is, Jude. It's just a weird suggestion. What else is new? More inscrutable rambling from my treehouse lunatic brother. Don't understand. You sounded confused. Trying to help. Over. Look, just shut up, okay? I'll sneak up there, lock the door, and you can call the cops? Negative. Most assume local law enforcement compromised. Oh, right. 911 blocked our number after all your prank calls. Drills. Not pranks. Xenomorph incursion preparedness drills. Look. Failed miserably by Fat Cat Xenomorph collaborators of Hot Switch PD. Jude. On our own. As a house. As a species. Over. Jude, I'm gonna go to a stupid attic, okay? I'm sorry for being mean. Do you have your weapon? Over. Sure don't. Why would I keep that thing around? Serpents swarming everywhere. Over. You want me to fight them? With a flashlight? Don't blame you for being nervous with high concentration of serpent presence. But must be brave. Your brother believes in you and knows you can beat the serpents. Over. Stop saying serpents. You really wear weapon? Do you recall where weapon is? Over. Yeah. It's in the closet. Understood. All set then. Over. I mean a hall closet. Crap! Over. Yeah, well, I guess I'll have to take your word about all this. You are sure about all this, right? Absolutely, extremely certain. Over. Over and out, Squirt. Doo-doo-doo. We're no longer room stuck. Looks like the closet closest clear. For now. You better hurry over to the hall closet and retrieve your weapon. Before that crafty old serpent you mean snake can get drop on you. So, I should get my old weapon from the hall closet and then head to the attic, right? Affirmative. Also refrain from excessive chatter. Over. Alright, yeah, bye. Could alert monsters. Over. Yeah, I got it. It's going. Bye. Can't be too careful in espionage games. Joey. Sounds golden. Over. Jude, shut up. Remember, one time on training mission, couldn't keep my trap shut. Oh boy, really Lena's in a pickle. Over. You never had any training. I'm turning off the walkie. Bye. Over it. It's your mother's jewelry box. A priceless heirloom of immeasurable sentimental value. Also appears to be some of your brother's empty cans of Pringles. I want a Pringle. These things always give you the creeps. But that didn't stop you from patching it up after Jude accidentally ripped it with an experimental foamless start. Me. Jude insisted the terrified horse was being abducted. Your counter-argument completely schooled him. This painting now commemorates your triumph in a particularly spectacular equanimity. Do-do-do. Do-do. It is a globe-like sculpture with an arrow that conveniently alerts you to the location of the ceiling. Ah, so that's where it is. Thank you, globe-like structure. You give it a tap. Wow, look at it go. What else stimulating? A bunch of stuff that should be moved into the attic. There's some toys here too that you don't play with that much anymore. Basically a pile of useless trash. You got this toy caterpillar so you can learn how to cure caterpillar diseases. But it turns out plush caterpillars don't get sick. Still pretty cute though. The caterpillar can't help you. And you can't help the caterpillar. Not a productive friendship, but at least nobody's been taken advantage of. You love to touch and disturb whatever astronomically improbable equilibrium is at play. Best just leave it be. A bunch of chap. Ba 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 ba. On a rare occasion he is home, Pa can be heard bumping around up here while tending to his hoard of stupid antique trash. Or priceless artifacts, I mean. No, you don't. It's locked! But you need to get in here as soon as you can. You pee through the hole. Weird. What the heck was that thing? How long has it been there? Hey, the attic door's locked. Christ, forget about that. Technical blunder on my part, over. It's fine, no big deal. Just left the safety of my room to be eaten by monsters in the hallway. You know, because my dorky brother sent me to the safety at the wrong side of the locked door. It is not fine, over. Jude! Panic not necessary. Extreme danger possible, however, should require weapon at all haste. Relay key whereabouts upon weapon retrieval, over. Huh, fine. So it is fine, over. Bye! Over and out. Brothers, I always want to have the final word. The hallway seems spookier than up on his side. Frankly, you feel a little spookier yourself, just basking in its spooky aura. But in the first and last Dark Gun War with Jude, Belinda here provides great cover for those who refuse to use firearms. Namely you, who tried to distract him with your tap dancing and to stick a dart on him. It didn't work at all. Belinda is beautiful. The gun can shoot a stream of water up to 50 feet away. They may not use guns. You don't use guns. This lady was just hanging out in her all together. Which you mean, who are you to judge? Except that maybe you slightly uncomfortable, oh, so she's naked. So you churched her a little bit. Churched her up a little bit. You feel kind of silly about it now, but whatever, you were like 8. The attic was a bust for now. You have gotten lucky avoiding monsters. But you really do need to gear up with the strike weapon before you can go downstairs. This is the door to your neurotic Dorker brother's maximum security bedroom. He keeps it locked up tight because of all the silly conspiracy work he does in there. You sincerely doubt you'll be entering this room anytime soon, but really, why would he want to? It's full of nerd stink and goober crud, not to mention it's where his pet usually lurks. You love all animals, but just the same, that one you rather let Jude deal with. I'm going to open it. He always keeps it locked. Even if he did manage to get in, he probably had traps set up. Now we're trying to get gum out of your hair again. Plus, there'd be his pet to deal with. No thanks. He always been a bit creeped out by the monster in the water. He feels like the eye is following you, but only sometimes. Well, that's nice. You're light bright. Hours of fun, with the number of hours and the degree of fun dependent on the power of your imagination. Which, in your case, means many hours with lots of fun. What's light? This is more important than anything ever on Earth. This lamp's not even plugged in, but there are at least 9 possible light sources in your immediate area, so maybe it got lost in a typical well-illuminated shuffle. This must be the closet. It's the hallway closet. If memory serves, there's a box full of some old belongings of yours in there. I wonder if it has what you're looking for. That box probably has the stuff you need, but you can't reach. What your next step should be? Actually, your tap shoes might be the solution to this problem. You can just get a good stomp going, you might be able to tumble that box right off the shelf. Think back to before, back to when this closet door was shut. You had a reasonably good guess about what was inside. But now, your guess is even more reasonable. You can't search a box while it's still up on the shelf, doofus. Let's find your tappity tap shoes. Ah, so it goes the same way. Tap shoes probably in bedroom? The door to your room. Heavily personalized, of course. You'd think he's the only one who can nerd up his door, but you showed him too can, and in fact will play this game. Tap tap. Along with ballet, you also study tap dancing. You haven't decided what you prefer. Ballet's fun, but tap's also fun. In a different kind of way. You have considered blending the two, wearing one tap shoe and one ballet shoe at the same time, but deciding to fully master both and earn the respect of your teachers for unveiling your boundary-shattering ballap style to the world. You add tap dance ability tech to your technique. Yep, those are the words that refer to these concepts. You learned them literally just now. It'll help if there's anything you need to shake up. Or shake off, or if you're just in the mood, shake it. Boogie. Dance for my music, child. When you're not actively or immediately hot stepping, your tap shoes are hanging up by the door. You know this because that's where you got them from a little while ago, and also because that's your own personal habit. It's too suffocating and acoustic for your tapping. It has no effects. Maybe try tapping the keys next time instead of tapping your feet. They're back into the same tap dancing, which he calls the staccato stumbling of the plebeian herd. And wow, that stings. They're a very appreciative audience, as always. Surprisingly, no one fell off the shelf this time. You show your lovely puppy surprise, your razzle-dazzle. She doesn't say anything, but you can tell she's pretty floored. They don't get ballet trophies for tap dancing, but if they did, you might just win one of these yourself one day. Or maybe you'll win one for your ballet. You decided to dream big. Talk about a hot steppin'. Well, lukewarm steppin'. Sound like a great way to startle some baby animals. You're having none of that. You guess one day you'll have to choose which dream to follow. Do you want to be a veterinarian who also dances a lot? Or a world-class dancer who volunteers at an animal clinic in her spare time? You can have it both ways. You do a few steps from twirling Merlin. You've thus far unfinished showcase of wizard-themed dancing. This one's the pyromancer's pop step. Show your brother your hot step. The sill's a little too narrow for you to dance on it. Otherwise you'd be in a heartbeat, obviously. Your tap dancing idol. Of course, after your mom, but Ginger is a close second. She's just amazing. The bounty hunter would be pretty excellent in any style that featured turn into a ball of midair maneuver. And what's all wouldn't benefit from such a maneuver? Why, none of them. No one can dance to the Bubsy theme. Not even Bubsy. He just flashes around like a jerk. And then smirks at you, like he just totally blew your mind. Sometimes you hate living in the 90s. This game apparently has really cool music. By searching online, you were able to briefly hear a few seconds of it. The download only took you a few hours. Wow, living in the future sure is amazing. Oh, the music in Block Hustle is perfect for tap dancing. But you have to play the game in order to hear it, and that's distracting. You tried having Jude play while you work out a routine, but he refused to play ever since he found out the game is Russian. It tends to make your game freeze. It tends to make your game freeze, alas. The only downside of cartridge-based gaming. And send him clattering? No way. You could dance to your video games, of course. You have, but tap dancing tends to rattle the old console so much that it freezes on occasion. It's not a great tap dancing accessory. He had a routine inspired by this movie, but it was just way too long. You guess you could say it felt always not stopping. No, that's not tap dance. Tap dance is great and fun, but it's like doing your taxes at church compared to what's going on in that poster. Oh, Princess Chica would never be a tap dancer. Her feet ended in deer hooves. She just couldn't get the right percussion going with that velvety things. So, alas. Clapping her hoof is how horses count. Except the titular acorn shadow, of course. It's too busy burning the land with galloping green flames to do horsey math tricks. If you just couldn't stop dancing, that'd be scary. If I didn't describe your life already. Joey Claire, extraordinaire. But that's actually the story of the red shoes, where the lady dances so long that they had to cut her feet off. Fun story. That's all the wrong school of dance for this poster. You need to put your stupid shoes on for this, but which do you mean to dance in front of a poster? You don't need your help to fall. They don't need your help to fall. You just pull the tab on the side. So, okay, they need your help, but not you dancing. Tap dancing actually freaks your dog out pretty badly. You suppose it's ribald, fireworks-like percussion on your toes and heels lacking its in hardwood floor that does it. In fact, you don't really have to suppose. You're pretty certain. You couldn't tap dance your diary open. Although, if you wanted, you might be able to tap dance it off the desk. If you wanted to. You don't want to, though. You're going to go ahead and head that line of reasoning off at the pass. That's not the way to open your diary. It was just an idle thought. You need your diary key to open your diary. Period. Your mom's a great dancer. Tap, swing, ballroom, bolero, even wild experimental stuff like contact improvisation. Ballet is her passion, though. And she was transcendent. Boom, bum. Oh, I can't tap dance Laura, my brother. Big sad. I can't tap dance the puppies either. Tragedy upon tragedy. No way! You don't want to startle the nice animals, especially given their obvious incredible magical powers. Yep, tap class is every Saturday morning. Your babysitter usually drives you, unless, you know, she's not feeling well. It is Saturday morning. I'm gonna tap dance everything for lore. The percussion footwork set off its internal gyroscope, or whatever. Hey, it's a tap dance detector? Your potential esteem for this relic rises slightly. No! You might just do jewelry box off the table! But I want to! Ugh, no, the chains would rattle and geez, it would be horrible. She might topple over. If a cool way to kill a ballerina than by tap dancing her to death. No, you'll never forgive yourself. I remember having fun with writing his. You try to tap her off the couch, but it's nestled into the plump plush pretty good. Your heavy, rapid tap sounds would send a little pig scattering across the floor. Even under your still tapping feet. You might just slip and roll across them, down the hall, to the edge of the stairs, and tumble down, breaking every single bone in your body. Every single bone! There's just no way you can take that risk. Percussion movement might just set off Jude's pets, which is the last thing you like dealing with right now. That was small for a stage, but that might do for a spotlight if it wasn't some kind of opposite of a spotlight. No dance, no lore for the closet. Boring. Wonder what's stashed in here. Nothing fragile, you hope. You pick through the box and find your flashlight and an old pair of ballet slippers. Those will come in handy. Oh hey, there's some pet treats in here too. You keep cashing them over. Never know when you need a treat to pet. You go ahead and try the flashlight. Click, click. No dice. Isn't there a battery problem? You open it up. Wait, there are no batteries in here at all. Just a bunch of stupid pogs. Dang it, Jude. Found my old stripe weapon. Guess what? It's full of your stupid pogs. Crap, forgot about those. Please keep safe, over. No, I'm throwing them away. Joey, please. Those are my favorites, over. I'm not really throwing them away, you nerd. What do you take me for? Thanks, over. Still need to get you to the attic, over. For safety, right. Well, whatever. I'm trusting you, I guess. Appreciate that, over. Although, so far it hasn't really paid off. Joey, please, just need you to head to the trophy room, over. Oh, gross, I hate that place. Why does it even need a special trophy room when our whole house is just a dumping ground for whatever garbage picks up on his stupid adventures? We'll find key to act there. Mysterious limbs of absent father not relevant. Fine. Over and out. So head to the trophy room? Affirmative. Over. Got it. Over and out. Thank goodness you have an extra pair of hidden away in here. You're actively thanking goodness. Right this minute. Sound like a bold and exciting way to break the heck out of a lamp. You've used the light bright in some low-budget performances you put on. It's a surprisingly evocative backdrop, if you do say so yourself. And by goodness, you certainly do say so yourself. He's in his treehouse, remember? He makes a pretty lousy audience anyway. I need to get on the lore! You show her a few steps. Nothing. Too bad. She could put the calves in cavalier. You're profoundly creepy and you'd rather... That's profoundly creepy and you'd rather not! You've used your ballet to dodge Jude's awareness training ambushes many times. In fact, he never actually hits you. You're excellent at dodging, or he's a really lousy shot. Or both. Could always be both. You tread lightly, producing no disturbance and stupid balance. Well, that's what ballet is for. apparently. Doing ballet while wearing your mom's jewelry one day. It makes you feel really good to think about, but it also hurts. You want to be the best in the world first. You can't wear stuff until then. Oop. You're going to need to add some D-cell batteries if you want this flash to serve any purpose other than an emergency POG storage container and very poorly designed paperweight. You know what time it is, more lore. You don't want to upstage your rainbow cuteness performance. You're really putting your hearts into it. You sure have a lot of girl stuff. I guess that's because being a girl rocks. You love it. You love to do ballet and make cakes and solve puzzles and study medicine and beat the bejesus out of monsters with your flashlight and sick kicks. You know, girl stuff. True. You've been set for Twirlin' Marlin, your bus bar unfinished showcase of wizard themed dancing. That was the sorcerer's soul. You bust out all of your illegal ballet moves on a beautiful statue. This shadow ballet against an unbeatable opponent. How raw young steppers like yourself hone your skills sharp between practices. Okay, none of this is real, but it's fun to pretend sometimes. No response. You feel like ballet might be a little highbrow for this crowd. She's overwhelmed by the beauty of your movements. She's definitely crying on the inside. You might look inside just to confirm. Yep, that's one damp salty womb. Oh my god. The more I look at it, the funnier it gets. Oh. By being added, hold on. No, okay, nothing urgent, so I can just put that as unread. Anyways, sorry, I had to make a... I just had to. I had to share. The world has to know. It's very important. Yep, ballet practice every Monday after school. Mondays are always rough. It's gonna be kind of a drag, and going back after 2 days away from it is hard. Knowing you have ballet at the end of it helps you put a brave face on things. You guess one day you have to choose. Yeah, your slippers were in the hallway closet. You don't actually remember how they got there? Kind of weird in retrospect. It's a cute idea, but babies aren't really ready for dancing. Even animal babies. Who are a lot more capable than, say, human babies. Human babies are kind of pathetic and helpless, all things considered. Ballet and computers. Spend enough time with either and you experience a lot of clicking. Hehe. In all seriousness, the sensation of clicking hips is no joke, and you're glad you've been lucky enough not to experience it in your personal ballet journey. You're good, but you're not sure you're ready to perform for such a gentleman throw a breeding. What if he gave you a scathing review in his gossip periodical? You'd be ruined. The still is a little too narrow for you to dance on it. I'd be heartbeat, obviously. It takes a graceful step to avoid tripping on these as you make your way across your bedroom. Luckily, you have a grace to spare. It takes a graceful step to avoid tripping on these as you make your way grace to spare, etc., etc. The TV's hooked up to your SNES and nothing else, so the only music you could dance to would be a video game music. Not to say you haven't, of course, but just kind of embarrassing. It's amazing the way the publishers have been able to gracefully sidestep releasing this game in your country. You're sure that if they ever do release it, their marketing campaign would be just as graceful. It's gonna stink. You gracefully wipe finger about Bubsy. It's an exquisite use of your skills. Block hustle, like ballet, is from Russia. Okay, ballet isn't from Russia, but they do a lot of ballet there. And you like to form connections between the things you're interested in, even if they are a little tenuous. Ballet and tap? Was this 1937 Ginger Rogers film, Shall We Dance? No, it is not. It's Star Avenue. Ballet demands strong legs. Probably even more so if those legs are covered in powerful armor. The bounty hunter must have very strong legs. Tone, too. Very interesting thing to notice, shall we? Anyways. This movie's kind of like ballet in that it's beautiful and pretty long and kind of sad, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense. And then it just ends. Also, there's a big white dog, although that similarity might be unique to your personal ballet experience. Yeah, you can see some ballet influence happening there. It's, yeah, sort of ballet-like from a certain angle. Oh, ballets are very spooky. Like, 90% of ballets are about a doll coming to life, or a swan trying to kill a clown, or something surreal or vaguely upsetting like that. You don't let it bug you. You lose yourself in the movement. Princess Chica sometimes dances with the animals, and sometimes she dances with her cousin, Baroness Kitsune. You aren't actually sure how they're cousins, since they don't seem to share any other relatives, but they sure do mention it a lot, especially when they're dancing close. It's a good thing we're cousins, or this would be weird. They'll say, mouths not moving. Grace and power, light and dark, virtue and vice. The duality of Acorn and her shadow will make for a pretty great ballet, assuming the dancers would adapt to performing in two-person horse costumes. Your mom was, in your amateur opinion, in the professional opinion of many experts who you very much respect, one of the greatest ballerinas who ever lived. Though she passed when you were really young. Before you could ever see her dance, you have a few tapes of her performances, and you could, of course, track down more. But you know that only so many of her performances were recorded, and once you see them all, that'll be it. You'll never see your mom doing anything that's new to you again. So you save them. If you're patient, if you're really good and you save them for the absolute best days, the ones you want to share with her, and the absolute worst days, the days you really need to see her, then you might be able to make them last a long time. You hope. Your dog loves their ballet. They make a very good audience. As long as you don't get too distracted by, like, a bug going by, or a distant sound only they can hear, or any number of other things. Dogs are pretty easy to distract. You could probably stand to write about ballet more. Then, when you're a famous ballerina, you could publish your diary to give inspiration to kids like you. That'd be a really great thing for a famous person to do, and also a nice little sideline income for you. But it'd be kind of embarrassing to have everyone read all your other thoughts and feelings. Maybe you should start keeping a second, less embarrassing, intended for publication diary. That'd probably be more marketable anyways. With these checkers scattered all over the floor, you break your leg. Both of them even. Well, probably not both legs. The ballerina in this print is your inspiration. She looks so graceful and fluid. And you hope one day look like either of those things. Let's go find more sides and words. And also batteries, I guess. Okay, that's open. I can't look at it though. Some great photos and portraits of your mostly great family. You tried to take a closer look. Ooh la la! That there is Mom looking très magnifique. When you grow up, you hope that this is what mirrors will look like. There aren't any pictures of the three of you together, so you try to make one through the art of composition by hanging these three solo photos together. It's kind of like there's a photo of all three of you. Sorta. Lovely diptyque of school. Diptyque? Diptyque? What the fuck's diptyque? Diptyque, an artwork, photograph, or object composed of two panels or images displayed together to create a single cohesive thematic or visual statement, often hinged together. Naruhodo ne. I see, I see. I'm being educated. The later background, the bad hair days, simply perfection. Jude put the dip in diptyque. You murdered yourself? Such an unreal burn on the unsuspecting chump. But he probably wouldn't even get it. Kind of think of it. Maybe neither do you? You and your very good dog. Oh. And someone you presume is his sister? Nobody's ever mentioned. Not that the two of you talk much. Kind of weird to think you might have like a second cousin out there you've never met. Maybe she died young? The old-timey times were pretty rough. Mom in the picture is grace and radiance. And Pa's just Pa. Seriously, has he ever changed his look? Sometimes you wonder if he was born with his spectacles and mustache, or at least one of the two. You and Jude have a lot of fun memories with your babysitter. That's Roxy. That's Roxy! By now, probably more than with Ma and Pa combined. You'd always thought of her as the kind of cool and fun older kid you wanted to be. Until you got old enough to realize she's a pretty sucky role model. Do you wonder what her family's like? It's probably not your place to ask. Pa used to be great with animals. I wonder what happened. Maybe a betrayal? No! Impossible! Look at how good that dog is! That dog never betrayed anybody in his entire life! Ever! You stake your entire reputation on it. The whole thing! Ugh, you can't even look at his picture. You deplore cruelty to animals. But in many ways, you and your father never saw eye to eye. One of other ways was how he never actually looked at you much, let alone at your eyes. Oop. Oh, no looky. This guy, what's he so happy about? Anyways, His expression probably made more sense in its original context, that is to say, whether tomb or temple or whether that your pa plundered him from. Mock your father. Drag his ass. Tap dancing would probably just agitate his snake if he had to get past one, which is very possible. Likely even. You cleverly dodge the serpents, but you're not surprised. Ballet is, after all, the preferred school of dance for such a venture. It's been a while since we saved what you got to save. I've heard tales of the Sierra Games. Oh, well. It seems the power's out. That should make the trophy room quite the adventure. Would you say not quite the adventure you wish you were having right now? Well, it would seem the power's out. Classic psyops. Over. What? Credit where it's due. Best way to stabilize countermeasures. Leave you in the dark. Literally. Over. Not literally. It's still like late afternoon. I can see it fine. Should have no trouble getting to the trophy room then. Over. Fine then, Mr. Mission Control. Yes, great. Over and out. Boo boo boo. What the fuck is that? Is that a corpse? Elaborate. What is that thing? You need a fucking maid around here. Just your reliable old portable cassette player, complete with headphones. Jude on occasion be found using it to even further isolate himself from reality. No, Jude left one of his tapes in there, and nobody can tap dance to Enya. Especially with a pair of dead batteries in the compartment. You need your ballet skills to avoid the monsters. With headphones on, you never hear them coming. Like the truck! Death by Enya. Your might end up reincarnated as a rose trapped in an iceberg. Plus the batteries are dead, of course. Dead batteries, of course, seems to be running theme. This bookshelf contains several Papa's books, including Pistols of Pelts, How to Turn Sweet into Elven Animals, and weird rugs and stuff. Teach yourself taxidermy, I guess. And Safari! Story of bold men and animals are killed from a distance even though they weren't hungry and they did not intend to eat them. You're already pretty cluttered on the shelf without your help. You may have been the one who tap danced these books into their cluttered state in the first place. You don't need a graceful ballet skills to avoid reading. All you need is the power of your video games. True. That's a big screen. Got the cable hookup and everything. It's your home altar, and your method of worship is listless vegetation. The gods reward you with glimpses of the divine Clarissa, Alex Mack, and the cool green lady from Reboot. I'm gonna look up Clarissa. Who the fuck is Clarissa? That would be my after work, my after stream research. You really like her. She's cool. I know what you are. And I approve. It doesn't seem like a great time. Besides, nothing to play on TV is really ever any good to tap to. And the only tap dance videotapes you have are Fred Astaire and The Utter Vulgar and Ginger Rogers movies. The tap dancing parts are great, but then you had to sit through a bunch of boring boy-girl stuff to get to the next part. You like to dance to ballet videotapes while no one else is in the house, which is pretty frequently. Your babysitter has her other job, Jude has his treehouse and his other friends, and you have your dancing and your puzzles. But there's someone else in the house tonight. Lots of someones, so you best keep on your toes, literally and figuratively. Observe the corpse. A piano can be used to turn a slight motion of one's fingers into music. Those ivories, how they beg to be tickled. But you mustn't. Also, you, can't. Oh, that would be just the thing, wouldn't it? Some kind of eerie, lonely sonata. It's a fairly settled tone for the adventure ahead. Something in a minor key, maybe. It's a shame that would probably provoke a bunch of monsters to eat you. Also, you can't really play the piano. The piece was too depressing. So you gave it a nice finishing. If your pa has a problem with it, he's welcome to say so the next time he's actually around. You wonder if you'll be driving by then. To college? Where you teach because you are an adult and 20 years have passed. Hard to dance and play at the same time, you know, from extremely depressing experience. Especially when you can't even play. If someone could just get on this piano and drop some Leo de Blaze, it'd be really power up your ballet moves. You suppose you could even settle for a little stilted rendition of hot cross buns. Observe the blue women. The ladies in these paintings are eerily beautiful, although maybe everyone will look like that in blue. The lamp, goodness, you'd like to meet the lady who modeled for it someday. The ladies in these paintings are eerily beautiful, although maybe everyone will look like in blue. Do. Nothing else. Do. This one makes you blush brighter than the lamp itself. That seems to be the right way. These used to be stacked neatly on the shelves, but your big dog came clambering through and slammed right into them. They tumbled everywhere. That's about 3 years ago. You aren't great housekeepers, I can tell. They're already pretty cluttered. Easier to just walk around them. You don't want to unsteady her. Although it'll be only fair since she's definitely unsteadied you. You wouldn't mind dancing to this lady, but one bit if only she were a lady and not a truly tacky lamp. Oh. You always really enjoy this painting, particularly because the line looks so alive. Whoever painted must have been very good at imagination. Either that or they painted it very, very fast. The Teddy Bear Outpatient Clinic is for stuffed animals who require treatment, but not an overnight stay. It's not just for stuffed bears, of course. It's named for its founder and chief physician, Ursula Teddy Bear. These always enjoyed painting. Boy, your pa really gets inventive with his taxidermy, huh? What a ghoul. Hey, he makes pretty good metronome. Your ballet is like this bear clock, precise and fierce. These probably should be in a museum. Stack them nicely in a corner like that. It'd be a shame to tip them over with your hot steps. A mask would be fun, but it's not really the season for it. A lot of these ladies are apparently your mom's friends. You should look them up sometime. You may, avoid mentioning that your pa had a blue-only portraits made of them. Although, if they were friends with your mom, they must have had a deal with your pa on occasion, so it wouldn't probably come to no surprise. Doo-doo-doo. Boo, boo, boo. Ah, this is the trophy room. Just keep passing the living room, pull the door shut behind you. It sure is something heavy and wet slammed against it from the other side. I can't see anything in the trophy room. It's way too dark. Odd. That's a house navigable. Over. Consider utilize flashlight. Over. You mean the one you filled with your pogs? That flashlight? Joey, please. Over. No use dwelling on the past. Over. It doesn't matter. Anyway. Something's blocking the door to the trophy room now. Something? Over. Yeah, I'm not sure what. Strange. For now, recommend focus on restoring power before sun sets completely. Over. Ah, jeez, you're right. Okay. I'll do that. Thanks for the reminder. Need electricity to retrieve key anyway. Over. What? Can't discuss over unsecured channel. Over and out. Any hot tips for getting the power back on? Power just seems to grant invaders significant advantage. Over. That's not really a tip. That's more like just an explanation for why I'm trying to do it. Not sure what to tell you. Circuit breaker probably in basement. Over. See, that was very helpful. Thanks. Doing my best. Over and out. You tried it up. It turns easily, but it won't budge. Something's blocking it. Something heavy. You guess you have to come back and deal with this after you get the power back on. Maybe I can come and safe scum and see if there's any hints if the flashlight works. Okay, now I can do something productive. The power's off, and as such, your fax machine is basically useless. This is an unacceptable state of affairs. Well, you can't very well dance to the fax machine if the power's off, can you? Be sensible. Well, you can't very well dance to the fax machine if the power's off. Be sensible. You visualize all the delicious items could be in a cool embrace of the refrigerator, but are not. It's empty. Food shopping's become sporadic of late. Turns out tipsy babysitters are fairly bad at responsibilities. The backyard used to be much more awesome before the monster showed up. You really don't want to go out there right now, tempting as though to rig more leaves. Ah, the struggle of the monster-bothered leaf pile enthusiast. You keep meaning to start a zine. It doesn't even rattle. For a door with no lock and a big dog-sized hole in it, that's surprisingly secure. You're agile and graceful, but you barely escape the backyard with your skin still on your body. You're not in a hurry to brave that crucible again. Look, you're not saying you never have home-cooked meals. Your babysitter's a pretty good cook, chef even. It's just, well, none of you like doing dishes. And the nice thing about takeouts, you can just eat it right out of the box. Out of the boxes and then throw the boxes away. Of course, none of you really like taking out the trash either. They're already on the floor. Isn't that enough box mayhem for one room, Joey? No. Dance. Dance, monkey, dance. Not much to dodge here except for the takeout box on the floor to avoid it with your typical easy grace. We must examine the whole room before we do anything else. It's required. There's writing in this game. The sink is full of dirty dishes. Someone should clean these up. The place is enough of a mess already. That's sending shards of glass and porcelain everywhere. You're likely to shred your feet to pieces if you try to use this mess as a stage. No way. No way. You did them last time. It's Jude's turn now. You know what? After he completely ditched you for the treehouse earlier, maybe it can be Jude's turn for quite some time. There are monsters out there, watching, working up an appetite. But with all those monsters out there, you think you'll leave it shut. Oh, so you don't really actually know how to open this window, short of breaking it. Just in case Jude is watching through the window, you do a quick little dance to let him know you're fine and that there's nothing to worry about. A performance and a performance. A little patch of sunlight through this window really does look like a spotlight, doesn't it? But are you ready for the spotlight? You feel as often do, like you're still nervously waiting in the wings. And today's the day you take the stage? Are these slavering beasts to be your first real audience? Well, if ballet be the hymn of wrath, let's dance. Damn. The tube highway that Jude's pet uses to get around the house. He's seeing tonight, fortunately. That would bring Jude's pet in a hurry, which is the last thing you need right now, or ever. No thanks. You have to admit, Jude's pet is pretty graceful. Disgusting, but graceful. With the power out, you're going to need some kind of light source before setting foot in this broken neck track. This mummy is currently blocking your access to the rest of the house. He's been ever since your pa left here months ago. Yeah, not a lot of chance of you being able to move Pharaoh Napoleon over here. The sound you heard since you entered the kitchen grows louder as you approach. An office static is like nothing you've ever heard. And you want to go back to not hearing it as soon as possible. You turn the radio off. Rumbo. Your babysitter has just really atrocious taste. You're only 14 and even you can tell this is just really crummy. The radio's clearly, although weirdly functional, despite not being plugged in. He might be onto something here. It's off, and it'll stay that way. It's the tuner. It's for tuning radio. Yep, by golly. You crank it all the way down to try to stop that awful noise. You crank it a little harder and, oops, you might have broken it. Actually, you're okay with that. You open the battery compartment. Oh, okay, good. If this radio doesn't need batteries to make those noises, you're about to have to upgrade this Spookatide to business class Spookitude. And frankly, you can't afford that. Jackpot, these cells, you can never have too many batteries. And never in too many different sizes either. Jude's Pogs. They're a cool, scully one, but the rest are all dumb cartoons. Big, rebellious graffiti, and bad video games. This is your mom's, but you aren't sure what it is. It looks like a key, but to what? You have a deep down feeling that it's important somehow. Better keep it. Ah, beautiful, comfortable satin ballet slippers, like dancing on a cloud. Unlike the canvas shoes you wear for class, which are like dancing on a far less luxurious cloud. These are your tap shoes. They enable you to tap dance. Your tap dancing lessons also deserve a little credit. Pet treats! Animals love these. Except the most dangerous animal of all. Man! Wow. Blew your own mind there for a second. You can almost feel the electric potential held with these vaunted copper tops. Cylindrical power capsules cast in the alloy of myth, thrumming with the barely contained galvanizing of 100 greases worth of muscular gods. And our electric device successfully powered through clever manipulation of resources in your immediate environment. You are on fire! With your flashlight fully functional and in fit fighting form, you feel significantly better equipped to handle most low-light environments, and also to beat the bejesus out of any of those creeps that get too close. Although that's the last resort, of course. Bam bam. If you run down the battery, you have no idea where to get more. Better save for when you really need it. Why is the music like that? It's a machine designed to take your clothes and wash them. You call it a washing machine. It serves its purpose admirably on a rare occasion a human being is willing to cooperate. The rhythm rumbling does make a beat that you can maybe dance to, if the power isn't out. You usually wash your ballet slippers on cold, then don't put them in a dryer, which is easy to remember because you don't have one. It's way too dark in here for you to turn a flashlight off. All neat and folded. Haha, just kidding. This is obviously dirty. The pile is a little too solid and settled for your powerful hot stepping to have any effect. Unlike that heap of boxes on the far wall. Those were made to be tapped on, tumbled. Yeah, they usually use washing, but you could use them more. Your pa brought this home as a souvenir. There's nobody inside it. It's kind of like a metaphor, you guess. You're not quite sure you want to start down the road of analyzing your life as if it were a work of fiction. Ha! Solid as a rock. You expect it to rattle a little, at least, but you guess there's nothing compared to by a breath lizard, which is certainly not a thing that is real. Those are fake, for sure, forever, and also in the past, also fake as heck. You heard it here first. The past, fake. Nothing is real, except for this moment. That's why it's the present. Amen. Well, they got the legs for it, but even they've been trained. You think they might be a little rusty? You do a quick tap routine for the hula girls. No response, but hey, did that pile of boxing against the wall just shift a little bit? Stop giving me hints. I'm trying to dance and get lore. Your pirouette for the hula girls. They stare at you, unmoved, and also unliving. May I have this dance? How about this one? A souvenir from your pa after his trip to Hawaii. He's been exploring the Pacific a lot lately for some reason, or so he mentioned offhandedly a few years ago. He's still doing that due to not having any fresher data. Or particularly caring one way or another where the hell he is. More women. Pa loves his boo lady portrait so much, she keeps redundant backups scattered around. Because it's okay if you ignore something supposedly precious to you as long as you're paying attention to something kind of similar in another location, right? You decide not to pull on that psychological thread because you have important work to do and who needs that crappy old blowhard anyway? I don't care. No, not the boxes. Your babysitter sometimes cracks into your pa's special reserve, and she tends to do it down here. So you and Ju don't see. You aren't really sure what to say about it, or if you even have any business saying anything of it at all. Boo-boo-boo. Well, if your pa's strange affinity towards the Betty Crocker brand ever apparent, this musty old junk mainly consists of all sorts of cooking implements, ranging from the familiar to the enigmatic. Really now, you can tell what a whisk is for, but some of this stuff looks downright unethical. It's also in your way. You can't reach the circuit breaker. Forgotten skiing stuff! No basins complete without it, in your extremely limited experience. They might make a nice clackety-clack, but you lack the ankle strength to get a really sizzling taparoo going with assault-sized skis strapped to your feet. Ballet amongst the moldering relics of a leisure class overburdened with possessions? What is this, the Kurhoff in 1956? Which you, as a student of both the history of ballet as well as practice, feel perfectly confident referring casually to yourself? Well, is it? You thought not. Try and move one box and the whole pile is liable to come tumbling down on you. You know, find a way to get them all losing at once. Shake them up somehow. A controlled tumble. That's the ticket. Totally unmoved. You'll need to step a little livelier to get a sturdy stack out of the way. Just destroy those boxes. You clear the boxes away from your fancy footwork. Now just give the breaker a tug or whatever. You already danced and battled crocker boxes on the way. Just use the circuit breaker, and you're home free. You did all the dancing you need to vis-a-vis getting the power turned back on. Maybe try using your arms? Specifically your hands? More specifically on the circuit breaker? Sorry for the attitude, you're just getting severely creeped out still. No, dance for my amusement, monkey. I must see all writing. You flip the breaker and... Uh-oh. If you're on the battery, you'll need it. Duh. Creature! Strive! You got no choice of being this thing. You gotta get away! Step on it! Hand it to you. Prima Sconjo. Power back on. You're doing or psyops of crouching forces. Over. Give you back light only to snatch it away. Describe hypothetical, very, very cruel. Dealing with sick operators. Over. No, it was just me. Criminy Jude. That snake monster is down in the basement, by the way. I managed to get past him, but we'll probably need to deal with that at some point. Second encounter with said serpent, correct? Beast wily. But since they're already established, superior willingness attribute. Over. Hey, thanks. I think. Chatroom should be trivia obstacle. Over. Wait, what? Add a key, Joey. It's on a prize. Keep me in loop. Over and out. The mummy's currently access to the rest of the house. You're even out of dog food? Things really have gone desperate. I guess you can't blame your babysitter for running off to the store for groceries at what was, retrospectively, the worst possible time. Looks like this bag of dog food is tapped out. Hehe, okay, you gotta get that one time. You gracefully avoid a few still scattered kibbles on the floor, as you gracefully do everything. You probably don't even need to bother mentioning it, which is why you usually don't. Is that a Keurig? A shaker full of seasoned all-magic spice mix. Your babysitter is a terrible cook, but I thought she said she was a good cook. But she dumps this stuff all over everything, and it actually tastes pretty good. Maybe it really is magic. What you're trying to do would probably be a lot easier if you pick the spice mix up first. But I want to see the text. Of course, everyone knows there's no such thing as magic. It's all fake with chemicals and stuff. Still, those chemicals are delicious. Do-do-do. Do-do. This fax machine can be used to send facsimiles of whatever you stick inside it to whoever also has a fax machine. It's very high-tech. Boo-boo. Do-do-do-do-do. Boo-boo-boo-boo. Do-do-do-do-do-do. You can't tell if the noise you hear is from the monsters or the wind. It's either some particularly whooshy monsters or some really groany wind. Oh yeah, I need to save. A VMAC chair. Super comfy and thankfully not filled with real beans. You could take a nap, but you kinda got a lot going on right now, you know? It's too uneven, it has too much give. You break your ankles like, well. ankles. You get a good strong kick with your powerful leg. It absorbs the blow and doesn't seem to be too shaken by it. A formidable foe. Pa's major totem of power. The clunky gadget controls the TV, the garage door, toaster, thermostat, and pretty much everything else of a with a charge running through it. It's pretty hefty. You really consider the idea of a television that could be controlled by rhythmic tapping of your shoes. Not sure if you're willing to deal with this inevitable torn of sprained ankles and lawsuits though. Really now, the universal remotes was designed to reduce extraneous physical activity. Using it while prancing around sort of defeats the purpose, which is part of why you have no interest in this dumb thing. You pop on this from Behemoth score, pocketed E-cell batteries, right in the old Silex. These batteries are huge, as far as you know. They don't fit anything but the universal remote, but hey, the night is young. One of your Pa's recent victims. You love animals. He loves killing animals and turning them into ghoulish trophies, celebrating his victory over nature. Yeah, big man, as long as he has a big stupid gun. This poor fellow is so shoddily put together that you fear your turbulent tap routine might cause it to collapse into a loose rubble of remains. Killing animals, Peter heard that. I'm not killing animals. This young lady's father is, and she does not approve. She is shaking her head very vehemently that she does not approve. Although you're happy to perform for your own stuffed animals, the more sinister nature of Pa's stuffed animals gives you pause. You mean pause. It's a bear that your paw shot and turned to a trophy. Now all his friends who come into this room will think, oh, this guy shot a bear. Okay. Except he doesn't really have any friends, and he's never here. So it's just a nice, big, horrifying thing for you to deal with. How are you, Duzzies? We're playing Hiveswap, the adventure game. You make yourself as intimidating as possible. The bear is terrified. Aw, don't worry. There's no pause for alarm. You don't need to outrun the bear. You only need to outrun you. Wait, that joke doesn't really work when you're narrating to yourself? Or, wait, what are you talking about? You dropped this line a slot forever. Hey, a bear. Leaving and protecting your home seems like a bad idea. Might be a creature and weirdos ahoy out there. You think you'll stay inside, but your chances of meeting creatures and weirdos are still pretty good, honestly. Oh, fucking Game Boy. It's a handheld game device that you and Jude share. He hogs it, mostly, but that's alright since you got the console in your room. I'm getting the doggo stare. Did your cats murder your figurines yet since you didn't bring them offerings? No. They've been trying to murder my wires though. It is very sad. Sure, you could become the first person alive to defeat Tatanga while performing a dapper ding, but would history remember you for it? Any good ballet games on here? Of course not. This thing would need way more buttons to emulate something as complex and nuanced as ballet. Yeah, I have it on good authority that the batteries in this thing are A, way too small for anything you may or may not currently need batteries for, and B, dead as a bag of doornails. Morale and time increasing her life. No, it'll decrease their poor life. I want her to live forever. Ooh. Ooh. So this is what was blocking the door. He looks hungry. Main Wars. Ready for this? Please excuse me. Shoot the tango. Table fight. Choose your battles. Boo. Boo. Lay on your feet. Ow. Y'all ready for this? Bum 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 bum. Pet treats. Opening course. Your eyes on the prize. Batter up. Better luck next time. Spicy meet you. Pepper luck next time. Too precious to weaponize. Passion orange guave. You're dead as December. It doesn't seem to be working. You're even more creeped out than you already were, but just severely. I really enjoyed that pet treat. Maybe you don't need to fight him after all. Make mine a double. Alright, big guy. Time for dessert. I wonder if I have health I need to be taking care of. Careful care of. Treat to a pulp. Alright, monster-inflicted death scene averted. You're unbelievably stressed out right now. Congratulations, you ascended to rung 2. Attain rank of tail wagging tyro. Max health increased by 12, bustle increased by 7. Congratulations, you ascended to rung 3. Attain rank of minute mammal mender. Dexterity increased by 2, grace increased by 6, leverage increased by 5. Rung 4, attain rank of peppy patter. Master noggin bop, hubris increased by 4, courtesy decreased by 2. Hey, nice stats upgrade. Yippee! So, where is the key? In his desk or something? Would never leave critical items. Such an obvious location. Or... Okay, but like, where did you leave it? I just had to lure a hungry monster out here with treats, and I'm not sure how much time I have for brother-sister conspiracy capers before it comes back. If room compromise, can't discuss countermeasures over unsecured line. Utilize puzzler skill set over. Ugh, fine. Call back if assistance required. Over and out. You've never been entirely clear on what's going on in this tapestry, but it certainly looks intense. Just look at that fire-breathing serpent beast on the bottom, and a red-eyed figure on the throne. Wait, what's their deal? It stopped at 11:11. It has been as long as you can remember. You could fix it, but why bother? It's not like you're going to make a habit out of strolling over to the worst room in your house to check the time. Do-do-do-do. You could reset the pendulum in motion with a click of your heels, but something stops you. Clockwork, once set in motion, isn't always easy to arrest. Are you sure you're ready for the consequences? Though still, the pendulum reminds you of an exercise. A great grand battlement of encloche. Encloche? I've been reading my head off. Ugh. My throat, my poor throat. It sounds impressive, but it mostly just kind of swinging your leg back and forth. It occurs to you that this could also describe a lot of ballet terms. You got some really old ashes in here, and with a couple really disintegrated hunks of charred wood. It sounds like a sure way to get old ashes everywhere, including in your mouth, and also dirty up your shoes. Really, a win-win! There's just not a room in there for you to maneuver. You try to ply in there, but you'll be picking your teeth out inside a chimney. This is exactly the kind of thing you wish wasn't in your house. Why couldn't your paw just leave their regular eyes in? And also, more importantly, leave their head attached to the body. You like to put something in those sockets, but what? And so wait, why do you want to do that so much? That's weird. Tap dancing on this poor kitty is liable to shake its head right off the wall. Maybe onto those katanas. Or maybe only one of them is a katana. Well, regardless. The juxtaposition is of the sort on a decapitated animal makes for a pretty ghoulish tableau. I'm gonna try turning volume teeny tiny down. This beautiful kitty was more graceful than you ever hoped to be. Sigh, for all the good it did them. This is a katana! You have no idea what to do with one. Wait, he will just throw it away. If you're going to uphold on something while you're tap dancing, it'll be a cane! Just like the great Red Astaire, who you know is a phenomenal tap dancer and you literally know nothing else about him. Ballet is the most elegant and demanding type of dance. Many katanas are the same, but for swords. Oh, look. You're going to lay it all out on the line. Ballet rules, and you really don't give a flying frog about katanas. You are just trying to be nice. Put pogs in the kitty's ear. Pogs in the eyes? You can never be so rude and cruel to such a big sweet kitty who's already suffered so much. Something definitely needs to go in those empty sockets though. If only because you are getting creeped out. Batteries in the eye sockets, eh? Well, it's worth a try. Nope, it wasn't. It wasn't worth a try. You stare into the empty sockets of the cat head, then at the red and green jewels of the key. You look back at the empty sockets, then back at the red key. You sprinkle a pinch of magic spice mix onto the moldering cat head trophy from the depths of your soul. You somehow summon the willpower to resist eating it. You hope this big kitty has treats aplenty while he could enjoy them. You'd certainly do hope that. Your mom left you this key, so it's your heirloom. Your pa probably stole its katanas from somebody. So somewhere out there, there's a key going without their heirloom. This makes you a little sad, even though you made it up. Calling it telling your pet seems like the kind of thing now boys who watch too much Japanimation would do. You let the pog fall onto the upturned blade of the katana. It slices right in half. But whether this is because the katana is very sharp or the pog is very crappy, none can surely say. A weapon from the Far East, wielded through under the heady influence of exotic spices. But what? That's definitely kind of a little racist, maybe. You're pretty sorry about that. An electric katana would be, okay, you have to admit, that would be pretty cool. Like, something a bad guy from a Japanese role-playing game would have. And it would be all tiny in his sprite's little hand until you actually got into battle, and then it would show up to actually be 9 feet long. It doesn't need batteries, it runs on, the pendulum, you think? And those brass bars always do something, and you have to open a face sometimes. You're not a big student of clocksmanship, but you think this is all pretty much 100% accurate. Getting all the grit and the clockwork would be bad for it, which you don't really care about, except it'll be a criminal waste of your delicious spice mix. The thing is very full of cogs. Doesn't need any cardboard discs. You love to be out in the yard feeding these to your precious wonderful dog. But this isn't the time. something about this key reminds you of clocks, or at the very least, clockwork. Keys are for opening, for initiating, and for unlocking. But also for locking, for finishing, for sealing, although those users are much less exciting. What's the point in finding a weird old key just to lock something away? Seems like someone sliced this big fella's hand off. Luckily, he's a lefty, at least posthumously. It's a little out of season. Is that an empty suit of armor? Is that a good hiding spot place? Or the first place someone look? You guess you never looked in there, so it's not the first place. Heck, that thing could be full to the brim of secret treasures that and answers to wild misses you have no idea. And you never will. Maybe he was offering that big kitty head a treat, and it bit his hand off. You're just kidding around, but it makes you feel better about the beautiful noble animal your pa shot and decapitated. Pogs, like suits of armor, are actually not all that common. Despite being older, respective areas will probably be remembered for. You can just see it now. You're living in a Pog epoch. You get the main knight to sprinkle dust right in the missing fan brace. Time heals all wounds, after all. The idea of battery-powered suit of armor fills your mind with visions of big armor machine knights, loyal only to their queen, knowing no fear, utterly unstoppable, and they aren't especially pleasant visions, so you stop envisioning them. Your pa loves the globe, knows no bounds, but you don't recognize any continents on this one. You have a better idea of what you are looking at if you could read these scribbly labels. All you can make sense of is the X mark. Could it indicate treasure? You spin the globe and watch the white beams rake across the surface of the globe. If you need to move this thing, just give it a spin. No rhythmic stomps necessary. Maybe you can incorporate this inaccurate globe into a ballet with globes. With a bunch of dancers dressed as globes doing pirouettes to stimulate spinning? Yeah, that'd be really revolutionary. Pfft, this globe obviously has nothing to do with any key-shaped objects. What are animals like on you, fake planet? Are they hungry for treats? You assume so. Animals always want treats, even fake ones, assumingly. Unlike the poor animals in this room, who are... that they're still alive. Even fake alive. The best thing about this big planet? No pogs. Oh yeah, and probably no monsters either. Which used to be a thing you could have said about the real planet that you live on. Not anymore, apparently. You're 0 for 2, real planet. You sprinkle the globe with spice. Uh-oh. What happens on this big planet? How will the AUs respond to this new shift in the global market for exotic spices? How will your new, now obsolete trade routes weather this prodigious miracle? And what of your spice-heavy investment portfolios? You better hope they were very flexible. It doesn't need batteries, but you get the feeling it might need something else. Or maybe you don't. It depends on how much you've heard, what you've been paying attention to, and any number of things. Really? As if being dead weren't bad enough, your paw replaces its eyes with some creepy glass orbs. The light reflects in their facade stare gives you the creeps. But are you crazy, or there's some light reflecting off his antler too? Maybe it bears closer examination. That seems like the right way, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to look at everything else except that. It's an alberige. A full-god monster from Oaxaca. Oaxaca? Mexico. Carved out of the wood of the coral tree. This little thing used to creep you out really bad until your babysitter suggested you learn more about it. You found that they're based on monsters an artist saw in his dreams, and ever since then, he seems a lot more friendly. He does a little guy. He's very fragile and culturally significant. He can't take any chances. Imagine what it'd be like if this monster were real. dancing gracefully in the winds with his pretty little leaf wings. Then you remember that there really are monsters flying around outside, and the whole flowery description of monsters thing gets a lot less appealing. Heh, he does share this red and green coloring, kinda. Well, close enough. Close enough to raise questions? Not really. With those big ears and those wings, this little bat fella probably prefers birds, mosquitoes, and moths to pet treats. Although according to the disclaimer on the back, these pet treats may contain insects up to 0.01%. You like those odds, so no treat. Some aubergine are made of brightly painted paper mache, although this one is made of wood. He's a little insulted that you think he'll care about pogs just because they're colorful and made of paper too. You get the feeling you should maybe step off. This weird little guy is no stranger to spicy foods, given the country of his origin. Oh, hit my camera. You said that as plainly as you could before saying stuff like that. Sometimes makes you worry you're being racist. But you're pretty sure that passed mustard. Hehehe. Authentic folk art doesn't come with battery compartments. At least not the authentic folk art produced in the region of this particular piece's origin. This is, Horus, you think. You're not up on your Egyptology. Horus doesn't look like he's in the mood for tap dancing. I'm just taking every single little bit I can find. Eating up every single word. Oh, the grace of a bird and a god. That's you. Nope, this seems to be from a different pantheon. From different pantheons. You seem pretty dour. Not really treat-friendly. That's not a big pong on its head. You don't know what it is, but that's not it. Spice mix, Horse doesn't care. What perhaps the idol has, they don't seem to require batteries. Okay, I think I clicked on everything except for the dare, so now I go look at the dare. Then this needs a less likely answer. You need for a big leap. It's well within reach of your bean-fingered grasp. There's no creature spurns your batteries. Look at that hoop, arch up all spurn-like. That's a spurning hoop if you've ever seen one. All the actual meat was removed from this poor fellow long ago. He's just fur on a frame. Releasing a noxious vapor of burning pogs over the land might take a few monsters out, but unfortunately, there's also Jude, your dog, buyers, and Jude's other pigeons to consider. Oh yeah, your babysitter. If she happens to return right now. Oh, and yourself. You always forget about yourself. Frozen in this posture of supreme dignity, the deer doesn't deign to notice you're bugging him with garbage. You're begging a deer forward with a tasty pet treat. He's incapable of resisting temptation, but he's also incapable of movement. So he stays put. Stalemate. Ew, what does this deer know about keys? You get any key secrets, dear? Didn't think so. Aw, jeez. You feel like a jerk. Why were you so mean to him? Why were you so mean to him, Joey? Why were you so mean to him, Duzzies? You wish you really did have a key secret. You wish it so hard you believe it to be true. Where are you hiding the key, you smug noble jerk? You don't want to get old ashes over your precious heirloom. It'll be especially difficult to get out the grooves of the spiral. The key Venus, after all. Burning up pet treats for warmth? Not in a million years. Think of the poor pets who would go untreated. Let's see, you got some really old ashes in here, and a couple of nearly disintegrated hunks of charred wood. So yeah, it's pretty bland, but not really working with the best ingredients here. That's a really inefficient way to release the energy stored in these batteries. Oh yeah. Did you just jostle a bit? What's your deal, buckaroo? There's something odd about those antlers. You can't quite put your finger on it. Or can you? Maybe in a literal sense. Adjust a little bit! Maybe you can't just kind of reach up? No, I'll do everything except progress the plot. How dare you ask me to progress the plot? I want the stupid text. No need for a big leap. It's well within your grasp, a bean-fingered grasp. Did your mom hopefully disapprove of stuff like this? Maybe that's why it's in the trophy room. It might be a nice gesture to the dear spirit to stick a treat in there, or it might be absurd. You're not really up on your orthodox servine burial sacraments. Like these pugs, could the antlers be flipped somehow? Like how someone might flip a switch? Depending on what you may or may not already know. You frame these questions either as sincere eurekas or absolute sarcasm at your own discretion. Thinking about making some antler stew, eh? Jeez, times really have gone lean around here. He's already done all the battering with those antlers that he'll ever do. Oh, that sure did something. Jude, I can't make heads or tails of this thing. What thing? Over. I turned on the laser, but that's it. Nothing else is happening. Thought you're a puzzle master. Was wrong, it seems. Over. Hold on. Bleed is called for Burns. McGruff crime dog experienced trouble? Unbelievable. Over. Wait. Disregard previous burn. Superior burn formulated. Ace Ventura, pet detective. Please respond to advice required. Over. Nice try, dork. Maybe you should try a real we're a real tactician. You'll manage to get your burns out on the first try instead of requesting do-overs. Pride wounded, but unable to protest. Have been informed mildly contentious banter stone of squad camaraderie. Over. Yeah. Anyway, how am I supposed to solve this thing? This clearly a puzzle thing that cries out to be solved. Use marbles. Over. I'm thinking as hard as I can, you know. I like puzzles. Wouldn't be asked if it weren't an emergency. Actual marbles. Over. What are you talking about? Trivial, really. Over. What marbles? I don't have any marbles. You don't? None nearby. Over. No! Oops. Over. You are now Jude Harley. And I need to take a drink. And now tonight is apparently the night you've been preparing for. Laying so many preparations and countermeasures against. This thing you made a rare tactical blunder. The marbles that Joey needs to disengage your strategic defense globe are here in your treehouse. I call in the lone gun birds. Look at these monsters. No eyes, no weapons, only the most rudimentary of squad-based tactical maneuvers. This is a diversionary feint by an expendable vanguard if you've ever seen one. There she blows, Harley Manor. Well, maybe only half Harley Manor since Joey disowned the name in favor of your mother's. Thankfully, this angle shields you from the hateful gaze of Joey's Bubsy poster. She blows. Tactical error. Consolidated all marbles here in Treehouse to prevent Ada Key from falling into wrong hands. Over. Additionally, forgot about doing that. Over. No cause for concern. Putting top agent on it. Over. Wait, who? Did you get in touch with one of your friends or... Oh god. You mean one of your pigeons, don't you? Over and out. Doo-doo. You're probably the only kid in school that owns one of these babies. What if these kids get stranded in the middle of the ocean? And then joke's on them until they starve and die. The chamber is empty because you observe proper flare gun safety protocols. But maybe you should load it because you also observed some scary stuff this evening. Empty, of course. You wouldn't keep it loaded. That would be incredibly dangerous. You keep the ammo in your fireproof metal chest. You know all this, of course. You're just kind of chatting to yourself in your head, keeping things loose. These monsters are there to scare you into making a mistake, so your best defense is an upbeat attitude. Water shapes its course according to the nature of the ground over which it flows. The soldier works out his victory in relation to the foe whom he is facing. Abraham Lincoln, The Art of War. When the heat is on from the government and you need to send an encrypted message while staying off the grid, you entrust it to one of your trained carrier pigeons, the lone gunbirds. You survey the troops. There's Langley, Byers, and of course, Frohike. He's your favorite. Dear sweet Frohike, how you adore him. You cherish him when he flaps. They'll make terrible ammo, except for very long distance shots. But the best they could hope to do is agitate the enemy, distracting them in a critical moment. Boo-boo. You dropped your favorite pair of binoculars when you were, retreating from a big serpent. These are actually your secondary auxiliary binoculars. Your Oxnox for short. You don't need to use your binocular to see this flare gun is unloaded, because that would be an incredibly dangerous way to check the loaded and unloaded status of a firearm. You carefully record activities of the mysterious figures you often see prowling around in the woods. Joey didn't buy it, but the sudden influx of monsters may have changed her stance. Derby devil blah 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 blah. Unnatural fog. If the oldest activity from the creepy hooded figures, you've occasionally been tempted to actually keep your flare gun loaded. But you crushed that temptation by remembering the old adage, those who live in ramshackle wooden houses nestled in trees should not keep their fire-based weaponry loaded. Ooh, pre-rocks. You keep smashing geodes in case they're secretly alien eggs. And if one is, well, you already have the hammer in your hand, won't you? Shoot the rocks. These bad boys are just too cool to smash up with the butt of your unloaded flare gun. Which is a real shame, because that would be a classic tough guy move. Might show these monsters who's in command here. President Clinton gives birth to Bigfoot. This thing. Talk about an enigma. One day you'll figure out what it does and why certain shady characters want to get their hands on it so badly. He has some theories, of course. Bat boy spotted at bar mitzvah. Your copy of notes on some disreputable activities carried out by members of what you can only describe as some sort of cult. You and her surreptitiously gathering intelligence on them for a good while. You've detailed some of this stuff on your sites, but really juicy stuff has been staying off the grid. A term you have just coined yourself just now. Cover up. The thing is, this thing is pretty complex. Not too complex for you, of course, but way more complex than, say, loading a flare gun. Are they responsible for your unloaded flare gun? No. That's your responsibility, because flare gun safety is everyone's responsibility, okay? You guess, in that case, they're responsible for it. But maybe you should just load your flare gun. No! Never! The situation is taking its turn for extremely serious. Only fuel these are actually liquids. And unfortunately, they are also the ones whose contents you don't precisely, exactly, 100% remember to total certainty. You're not saying one of them are urine. Some of them are urine, but you're not saying none of them are urine. You stick with flares for now, although if you could figure out how to weaponize a Venus flytrap, you'll be pretty much unstoppable. Doo-doo. Might be time to scan the airwaves again, see if you can pick up any chatter from the enemy. Turn on the radio. You heard enough of that weird signal for now. Forever, really. If this useless thing has given you a little warning, you could at the very least have loaded your flare gun by now. I will never load my flare gun. I'll do everything but load my flare gun. You already command a crucial intelligence to memory, but a truly great field commander keeps even better records. As simple as loading a flare gun. Oh. Boop, boop, boop. The idea would be such an unforgivable tactical blunder. You're frankly glad you haven't actually loaded a flare gun yet. Just so it's not even on the table. The idea you mean, not the flare gun. The flare gun isn't on the table either, though. You don't even have a table up here. Just a trusty workbench. Doo-doo-doo. It's not even loaded. Not that it should be when you're aiming at your sister's bedroom window. Of course not. Jeepers. Keep it together, Judo boy. It'll do a lot more damage if we're loaded, friendo. It'll do a lot more damage if we're loaded, friendo. But you better pick up your momentum. That's not it. The Poppy Castle seems fortified for the moment. You and that pup spent some time adding extra fencing implements this summer. They're holding up nicely. Whoa! Whoa, jeez whiz, whooped you. Actually aim your trusty flare gun at the doghouse and pull the trigger. It was loaded, so no harm done. This game rules. So no harm done, except for your previously unblemished record of perfect adherence to flare gun safety protocols. Do do do. Boo boo. The perfect place to store your flares. Well, some of them. This is where you keep your beeper. But you really don't want to get into that right now. Your tactical escape house hatch and allows ingress and egress from Amazing Treehouse. Look, if we're just your can on the line, you'll be out that hatch, down the ladder, and blasting some monsters in seconds. But Joey's counting on you, and you don't have got to get hurt to a more defensible position before you can even consider heroically abandoning your own. If you're going to beat a fighting retreat, you sure as heck want to load your flare gun first. That's just lesson 1 of the first day of Tactics 101. Storing your flare gun and your flares in the same place just makes you nervous, even if that place is fireproof. You retrieve a cache of flares you were keeping in your metal chest, combined with your flare gun, your tactical treasure. We have a new item. That means we need to touch everything with it. To see what the funny words are. These babies are pretty effective on their own, but when you combine it with your flare gun, well, that's when they really shine. Flares go to 2 places. Your fireproof flare chest or your flare starting flare gun. No middle ground, no surrender. Oh yeah, to reflect the flare, light dancing in a geo makes some really fascinating colors. But you can't risk it inside a treehouse. And it's too crowded with the monsters out there to have a mineral jamboree right now. Later, though. Later, for sure. That's not a bad idea, actually. You mean, it is, because this radio currently only receives signals, but if you could figure out how to signal one of your pals for backup, that could really turn the situation around. You know, from experience, that getting in touch might not be easy, though. For now, you need to focus on helping your sister. There are some cylindrical objects in this schematic, but you can confirm that they are not flares. They're at least 100% sure about that. All these unidentified bright lights, could they have just been flares? Simple. Mundane flares. Poof. Yeah, right, as Joey would say. If you were interested in destroying your records, you wouldn't have carved them into a tree. A little flare would scare the bejesus out of a pigeon, and you need a pigeon at the very peak of its courage. The security system, wow, it's so perfect, really. Simple, yet elegant. You're thinking about your flare storage puzzle of a broken pallet could use a little upgrade. Are you crazy? Signaling your location to the monsters who seem to not have noticed that you're up here would be just an incredible tactical blunder. You're blundering just thinking about it. Now, where's Joey go? Maybe you should flash your lantern at her some more. No need, you already got a secret cache of backup players stashed away in there. This ain't your first rodeo. But it is your first rodeo. Joey should be managing just fine with her flashlight. Between that and her dancing skills, she's either a double or triple threat, depending on where you classify different schools of dancing as multiple distinct threats. You thought a lot about it, and you're just going to have to think a lot about it some more. You need a signal, Joey. You would just use your lantern. Or your walkie-talkie, or the actual flare gun. Or, theoretically, you could just yell real loud. The house isn't that far away. Dropping lit flares down the hatch sounds like a good way to set the tree on fire. Which would be a good defensive maneuver if your treehouse wasn't attached to it. Barricade disclosed for now. The situation seems unlikely to de-escalate anytime soon. Shooting your flare gun and your flares in the same place just makes you nervous. Breath held, hand steady, you carefully load the flare gun into the flare gun. There's no going back now. The genie's out of the bottle. I am armed. And I need a pee, and I have a feeling my dinner's gonna be arriving soon. So I'm going to save it here. Not really labeling it, I can just get the most recent save. There we go. So I'm going to call it here. Thank you all for so much for coming on my happy Homestuck day. We'll be continuing this next week. You know it's not a longer Homestuck day, but you know. I'm having a lot of fun reading every little bit and cranny. Really good rating. I love it. Very funny. And I will continue to waste everyone's time by touching every single thing of every single object and every single action. Because I need all the writing. So see you all next time. Bernaneta, offline. Good night.